big news for Danville. GW is moving on, but we've got Salem. Salem's coming into JT Christopher, talking to the man of Danville, Mr. Chuck Vipperman. And let's talk about the EC Glass game first. What went right for GW?
For the most part, took care of the football. I think only one turnover last week, but really stubborn with the running game. Glass sold out a lot at linebacker. They blitzed A gaps to keep the running game in check, and for the most part, they were effective. But GW was very stubborn with the run and managed eventually to pick off a couple of long ones. Ended up actually rushing for 331 yards. It sure didn't feel like that because Glass's defense on a play-to-play basis was very stingy against the run last week. But the story of the game was the Eagle defense keeping the Hilltoppers in check. Callaway and Holloway, the senior and sophomore quarterbacks respectively for Glass, were shuttled in with some regularity, but the Eagles defense kept them in check. One big key play right at the last play of the first half, 17-7 Eagle lead. Glass goes back to pass, and for some reason the GW secondary let the receiver get behind them, and the receiver caught the ball, was dashing towards the touchdown, but he was tackled at the 1-foot line on the last play of the first half. So the difference psychologically between a 17-7 and a 17-14 game was absolutely huge. But it was a plodding game, not an awful lot of first downs, not a lot of flashy offense, but GW's defense was the difference last week.
Is GW a big play team to where they rely on that big play?
Not as much as in years past. This is more of a ground and pound GW team. We have really one home run threat on offense, and that's Jaden Glenn, and he's not 100%. He tried to go last week, and clearly he was still having issues with his ankle, so he only carried the ball 7 times for 18 yards, I think. But this is more of a ground and pound team. So Eagles usually have 1 or 2 or 3 home run guys that you have to watch out for. It's not the case this year. This is a team built more like, say, a Salem team that likes to run the ball first, pass to keep you honest, but they want to control the clock.
Man, you must have done this radio thing a time or two. Just a perfect segue into Salem. Does GW being a ground and pound team, you think fit for what they could see against the Spartans traditionally, at least for Salem traditionally? Yeah,
you can knock off traditionally because it's the same Salem stuff. I don't even know why we bother watching film on these guys. It's the same stuff in 2013 when we first played them in the playoffs, 2017, 2019, 2021. It's Salem football. Their power eye pro set. When they get into that 2 tight end pro set in the backfield with 1 receiver, they can move the ball between the tackles on anybody. They are just a machine. They are relentless, and they do what they do. They're not fancy on offense. Maybe 1 or 2 gadget type plays a game but even then it's conventional gadgetry. Maybe a counter pass or something like that. They do what they do. They do it well, and they're going to keep pounding until you make a mistake and make you pay.
Well, and a lot of people will say if you need a trick play to win the game, you're in bad shape.
Exactly, yeah. And they're going to line up with their 11 versus your 11, and they think they're better, and 9 times out of 10 they are. I mean, you can't argue with their success. But, again, there's a bit of a psychological thing going on, too. I mean, let's be honest. They've ended 5 of our last 11 seasons in the playoffs. We're 0-5 against them. The 2 teams had not met until meeting in the regional championship in 2013. And they've had our number. Not to say they weren't the better team, they were, but man, I mean they slapped GW around in a couple of those games, and we're not used to that. It's a bit of a psychological battle. The seniors on this year's team, we had a couple of them that were on the roster as freshmen the last time we played Salem. They weren't really contributors, but they were on the roster. So these guys have not lost to Salem, certainly in their varsity career. Of course, we've had a couple of subpar seasons before this year. But there is a psychological thing. I think it has more effect on the fans and the players.
Yep.
The players mercifully have very short memories, and that's going to very much work to our advantage, I hope.
But kids can read, and they hear what they hear. They hear what they hear. They hear it on interviews like this. They hear it on social media. They hear it at, barbershop walking down the street.
Sure.
Probably at home. So with that being said, does GW have to do some mind erasing of, hey, Salem's had our number?
Yeah. There is a certain psychological hurdle, even though these guys have not played Salem, because, Salem has the rep, and it's well earned. They are the gold standard football program in this part of Virginia. You can make an argument for maybe one or two others, but certainly Salem is on the short list there, and even across the state. I mean, they just had a staggering record. The thing that impresses me is, according to the Four Seasons football site, their playoff record. Not the regular season record, but their playoff record is 86-26. That is, to me, astounding. That is, if you pull that that's like 78%. You do that in a regular season, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But they're doing that against playoff competition. So not only are they good, but they're good when it matters. And all the playoff experience that they have is something you're going against. You're going up against the ghosts of teams past as well, whether you realize it or not. And from my standpoint, it makes for great drama, obviously, great theater, but it makes for good football, too. They play hard. They play football the right way, and it's always an entertaining game. And I just sometimes just like watching them play just because it's like watching a precision Marine drill team. They're doing the same thing over and over again, and they have almost perfected it.
So I'm hearing you say, and you tell me if you are saying it, if Salem runs what they are going to run and they run it really well, GW, I don't want to say could be in trouble, but GW's got to watch out.
Yeah, I will say that on paper, this year's Eagles team is physically a better matchup than some of the teams in years past. You mentioned some of the playmakers we've had in the past year. We've had those, but our line play has been subpar, and that's really where Salem has exposed us in these 5 games is they won the battle up front, no doubt about it, in all 5 of those games. A couple of them, we were close, but they eventually wore us down. I think the line that GW has both sides this year is physically the best we've had since we were a AAA school back in the 90s. And it's kind of hard to compare because the high school is substantially smaller now than it was then. But, this is the best line we've had in well over a decade. And so from a physical standpoint, this team is a better matchup for Salem probably than any of the 5 previous ones.
How long have you been doing this little broadcasting thing that we call it for?
First year was 1989. I was right out of college.
So 20 years.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's and again, I saw GW move from a big AAA high school to a good-sized AA, and there was that transition period right before 2013 when we joined the Piedmont, and we're really at that point what we would then call a AA school, where we were playing a AAA schedule with AA enrollment, and we were, the first part of the last decade, we were getting slammed. Battlefield High School, which had, twice the enrollment. So it's been wild watching this program evolve from a big AAA to a good AA. But we've made the transition now, and the numbers get affected. I looked back a couple of days ago at the '94 state championship that we hosted against Annandale. And looking on both sides of the ball, man, that was like small college football there.
Right.
The size of the players, and we went 4 deep at running back. It was wild, but it's a numbers game, and we're competing now amongst our peers in terms of school size.
And speaking of numbers, I know math. 89 to now is not 20 years. I'm just throwing out.
A little more, yes.
A little more. But you've been around, and you'll hear coaches say it's not about them, it's about us. But Salem's on the other side, so it's also kind of about them too. And you talked about it; they haven't changed the wheel since you've been doing this, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even our first game with Salem was 2013, but through osmosis, I was very aware of their super teams under Willis White in the 90s and the early 2000s, and of course Coach Magenbauer after that. I watched, Friday Football Extra and Channel 13 as well. They show Salem. It looks like that precision drill team.
So with that being said, is it about GW this week, or is it about stopping what the other team does really well?
It's about, I don't want to have to say they got to erase memories of the past, because these kids don't have any memories of those.
Right.
They just hear it. If we do our thing take care of the football, run it, against a very good run defense, and keep them relatively in check, we've got a good chance against those. Like I said, this team, from a physical standpoint, particularly along the line, is the best equipped of these GW teams of the last decade to take on Salem. I never will forget 2013. We went 10-0 regular season, second year of Nick Anderson's reign there. And we lost to Salem 49-28 regional championship, and we were, just sort of doing an assessment after the game, and we said, the next step for our program is to get consistent, dominant line play like Salem has. That's the difference. We had the skill players to go up against Salem. We put, 4 touchdowns on the board. Should have had 6, really, but we couldn't stop them. We could not stop them from running the ball at will, and so we knew that the gap between us and Salem was the line. Well, we've been working on it. It's been kind of hard to get these big linemen going with, COVID and, we're getting a brand new weight room right now, which is a big thing. We're having to lift at the middle school now. But yeah, I think physically this is the team that has a chance to, match up evenly with Salem. This is going to be a quick ball game Friday night. 2 teams that like to control the football, a lot of smash mouth. It's going to be a very, very physically demanding game for the linemen, and we're going to have to shuttle in guys, particularly on defense, keep them fresh. But it's going to be a physical football game.
I'll tell you who's not pulling for GW is the other side, because JF or Sharando can get a home game either way.
Sure.
So
that 2-3 game, they're going to be rooting for the 4 and the 1-4 game. I promise you.
Well, I mean, JF to GW is, not long, but it's not short, and I can tell you Sharando to GW is much worse.
Yeah, see, I would much rather be playing at home if you give
Sure.
Danville or Winchester. I choose Danville.
Yep, absolutely. So I've never asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you now. How do people find you if they want to watch, hear, or do whatever they want with the GW Salem game?
The easiest way to do it is to go to gwfootball.com. You'll see a big Facebook emblem there, and just click on that, and you go to the Facebook page. We don't get there's no link to the game until we start the stream. So I can't say, hey, click here for, the live stream. You have to sort of wait. It'll be at the top of the page. It'll be under the name of Nick Carty. You'll see it. It'll show up as Nick Carty is live now. But we borrow a nice little camera from First Baptist Church, of which I'm a member in Danville, and use that on game nights. And Nick is the guy that runs the camera. He gives our sponsors placards during the game. We have a lot of fun with it. It's my radio. I'm still doing a radio call on a live stream. I don't know any other way to do it. I'm sorry.
It's kind of cool.
You're going to get the radio call while you look at it.
Right. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's kind of cool because you know what? I'm sure that you've watched streams before, had streams going. Are you watching that stream every single second?
Oh, no.
Exactly.
It's live. From a practical standpoint, if I looked at the camera, you're not going to see the whole field.
Right.
And I have, as my eyes have deteriorated over the years, my glasses have gotten thicker, but I insist on being able to call it live as it happens. I don't know any other way to do it.
Me either. And, as a guy that does radio too for Heritage, you need those sponsors, especially come postseason. So,
oh my goodness, yes.
Oh man.
Well, this has been sort of a bit of mini drama on the webpage. Region 4D is charging me $500 each game to stream in the playoffs, and they told me that, and oh my gosh, I don't clear $500 on a game. Come on, man. Right. But thankfully, and I'm going to mention them here, Danville Toyota stepped up and said, hey, we got you covered. Go ahead and stream away. So God bless them.
Well, even the radio coverage that we do, it used to be $50. Now it's $100, and
exactly.
I don't think people understand. You have evolved, but a lot of people that still do radio, and I'm not trying to badmouth radio at all, but it's different. It's totally different now because people have evolved with that YouTube, Facebook. Twitter.
Local radio has suffered. I did radio news up until 2016, and even then you could kind of it's different now. Sirius XM, all that.
Yep.
It's a whole different landscape, and we've lost something, no doubt about it. There's the local community radio station is a dying thing right now, and I think we've lost something there, but I understand things change all the time.
It's funny. I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and I said, when I first started doing stuff at WKDE for Alta Vista or William Campbell games, there would be times where I'd have to go up on the roof, like when Alta Vista played at Gretna.
Right.
I'm crawling up to the roof of the school.
No room in the inn.
Well, and just to put I'm crawling to the roof to put the antenna for a basketball game.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because
nowadays
you can't shoot out of the most gymnasiums are like RF fields, and you got to put run the Aggie antenna outside, and then get 250 feet of coax cable to run inside just to do a dadgum basketball game.
Nowadays, this thing called the cell phone and everything.
Oh, it's amazing.
You can do it so easy. Now, last question real quick. If somebody doesn't have Facebook, believe it or not, there are those people out there. You can go to GW Football, still click it on, and view it even if you don't have a Facebook account.
Yeah, even if you don't have a Facebook account, it will take you to the GW page, and you should see the link at the top. If you're in Danville, you can listen live on 104.5 The Dan. They simulcast my coverage of GW Football. If you really want to, I do something on an app called Mixlr. You can look up mixlr.com and look up GW Football, and it's audio only there, but it's a good, clean studio quality, really, audio signal, which is an amazing thing that you can put that on just a little simple iPad, and it'll translate it, perfectly to digital sound.
And if you're going to the game, take your headphones.
Sure.
You can always hear Chuck there. I always tell people, if you're listening to this, nowadays people don't listen to a Walkman.
Right.
At the game. They listen to a stream.
Now you're dating yourself, huh?
They listen to a stream. You might be a play ahead on the stream just because, but still. You want to know what's going on?
I had somebody. We did one game, and he came up and he was checking us out on 104.5, and he said it was awesome. I saw the play, and then 15 seconds later, I heard you talk about it. He actually preferred that to live, and it's a little different than conventional radio. 15, 20-second delay, but that's not too shabby.